Loren, you ready? Loren. So I'm going to tell you guys a story, which I probably shared it yesterday already. So this guy here, Loren Michael Harris, is my life coach. I had 10 coaches to help recovered from, as a matter of fact, you guys know me, right? I'm Kessa Gooden. I didn't introduce myself today. Kessa Gooden, founder, CEO of multiple companies, and Global Awakened Initiative Inc. If you look at her shirt, this is the charity. I support freedom. Follow us if you do. The number one thing that we support, just like DB. So, oh, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so yeah, so a nonprofit organization take care of children in Africa, around the world in 17 different countries, as you guys know, and we help teach, we feed them, we teach them how to become entrepreneur. We educate them with the traditional educational system, and also we provide pharmacy assistance, and our next program that we want to do is Habitat for the Poor. Habitat for the Poor is where we want to go in rural communities to build homes in Africa for the less fortunate, the grassroots family over there. So I didn't tell you guys how this journey started with the nonprofit organization, so I will tell you guys in a little bit. Loren. So in 2006, I was in Africa with my ex-husband, and we were in the car, and there were some kids begging for food, and while they were begging for food, I didn't have food. They had the plate, and they were begging for food. But I had $1 US dollar and change in their money. And I gave them that, and they bowed down to me like this. And from that day on, that was December of 2006, my entire life has changed. My entire world has changed, because to see that gratitude when I gave them just $1 and change, I made it my mission that day that I was going to serve others in everything that I do. So even though I had a poverty-stricken background, I still gave when I had nothing. And this is how far my giving went. I remember there was a time about 10 years ago, I was on welfare, and I used to take the food stamps and give it to the people on Sundays. I would cook meals and go give it in the community and feed the people in Broward County on Sundays with the food stamps. And that's how much I give. And this charity here that you see, I'm doing the same thing with that. With my finances, whatever I make, I give it away to my kids. This is the first event that we put on. And yes, I did say whatever it cost, this event could have taken care of my kids for 4 years. So make sure you make good connections with each other before you leave. So that's what I wanted to share. Now about this amazing guy, Loren Michael Harris, one of 10 coaches that helped me get through one of the worst time of my entire existence. As I told you guys, lost my children to the foster care system, all 3 of them. Lost my mind for 3 weeks not knowing who I was. Lost Ryan Long, a partner who was going to put me on stages and help me with the charity in Africa, dear friend. And then got COVID on top of it with no one to help me but a silent angel. And you guys will hear about that silent angel later. And Loren Michael Harris, my coach. Welcome to the stage, Loren.
Mike.
time. That's my jam. Something. Yep, I'm going. You got to figure it out later. You got to figure it out later. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, look, I already sound like Louise Jefferson. You see, I'm not channeling. I'm just a little excited. Is that okay with you? I want to start by saying first and foremost, did anybody, let me start with a question. Did anybody here today get out of bed and slip and fall and you stood up and you were in the clothes you were in? No. Everything that is with you right now, it found its way to you and is now a part of you, representing you within this moment on purpose. And I want to start there because you're going to hear some things, you're going to feel some things, some of you just might even see some things. And if there's something that's not familiar, like your favorite pair of pajamas, you just might question it. And if you start questioning it, the moment you do, halfway down the road or somewhere between the beginning and the end, it may just turn into doubting it. And then if you let that continue without us knowing that it's a possibility right now on the front end, by the time we get to the back end, you may have completely dismissed it. And a lot went into putting each of us in this very moment right now. So I invite you to believe, because I don't deliver speeches. I create opportunities for experience. And I just want to say, see, I got Kleenex in my hand because I know myself. And I know that what comes through today isn't coming from me. It is coming through me. And I am going to be washed. I'm going to be renewed. I am going to be revived right along with you. So I want you to understand that right now, together, we are co-authoring a unique moment in time. I didn't know Ryan long, but I knew of him. I knew things that people told me. I knew things that I read on the internet or social media. I knew things that I assumed, which was meaning really I knew nothing at all. So here I am. And when Kessa invited me and it was to honor Ryan, I struggled for a moment because I thought, well, is she asking me to be inauthentic? Because I don't have a relationship with Ryan. But clearly I do, for I am here with you. I don't care what people say had happened or the way the legacy was being rewritten as we speak. Because I know that no matter how Ryan left, whatever he went through, whatever they called him, whatever was true or not, all of it led me to you. All of it. God, whatever you ascribe to be greater than yourself, does not make mistakes. It simply makes it interesting. And today, I plan to prove it. So, I want to say something about legacy. Sometimes we have to be broken down to appreciate the view once we start getting up. And that happened to me. 22 homes in foster care, everything I wore as a scar, as a shame, things that started like Velcro on my spirit. After just a few months, then years, then decades, I had believed myself into believing that they were indelible tattoos, if you will. That no matter how I scrubbed, they would not leave me. I was the proverbial modern day Hester Prynne from the Scarlet Letter. And one night, I stood on a stage in St. Joseph, Michigan, in front of 400 people with a tether on my right leg. on a Saturday night. And that Monday, I was going to be in a trial, which was the fight for my life. Because I had divorced myself, or so I thought, from a 14-year drug addiction. I had destined myself to be destined from it. I had also decided that my mental illness or mental health situation that they all said I had, so I refused the lithium and took crack instead. Not a good idea, but it was still the path that was chosen for me. I want you to know, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be able to tell you what I know to be true about that. I never was addicted to drugs, not for 1 minute of 14 years. What I was addicted to was the abuse of the gift of invitation. The drug never did anything that it didn't promise. I had millions and millions of examples of what you get, and I still invited it in. Why is that so crucial? Because everything that is within purpose that will get you places nothing or no one else can get you are protected inside. They're all internal. That's why it's instinct, intellect, intuition, insight. And the only way something gets in and takes it in any direction is through your invitation. It's the truth. It's the truth. The reason that's important to know is because it begins with choice. And right now you're going to have a choice to make or not. Do you believe that you have beaten the greatest odds known to man? I'm here to tell you you have. Google it later. Just to be sitting here as a human, alive, 1 in 400,000 quadrillion. More zeros than anything. So once you have been born and you're here, you haven't even formed a thought, spoken a word, and you've already surpassed the greatest of odds. Which means now your soul is longing to do what it came here to do, and that is to create new odds. I was told a little while ago, Loren, you know you'll be 60 this year on the 4th of July. It's time you start really thinking about the grout that you're going to use to seal the tiles of your legacy. And I said, you know, you got something there. What do I need? You really need only one thing, but we're going to give it to you in two. First thing is, get up every single day for the rest of your existence, willing to find something to bring to the world that they have never seen. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening. And then I heard, and that now means, Loren, that you must be willing every day to get up and do something you've never done. And suddenly what felt light became lighter. What felt great just became greater. You know why? Because I decided a long time ago to stop using all 26 letters of the alphabet every single day to write my narrative. I already am great when I wake up. I need one E and one R and make it greater. I need one E and one R and make strong stronger. I need one E and one R to make bright brighter. Do you get the point? Yeah. All right. That's how easy it is. We are the ones who make it difficult. 3 P's I work with my people with: purpose, passion, and the most important one of all, patience. Purpose is everything you mean. And why is that so crucial? Because when we mean anything, a thought, a word, an action, when you mean it, it instantly becomes meaningful somewhere in this universe. And that doesn't mean today. That can mean 5,000 years from today. But you got to wait on it. I was telling some people last night at the dinner, Martin gave us that clue when he said everything he said about what the vision of the civil rights movement was through him and not from him. But he said, I may not get there with you, but he knew it was coming. Look around you, because you're in it. You see, you are writing moments that people will learn from, grow from, and heal through for thousands of years. That means that your purpose in this world cannot be considered anything close to or remotely related to a shared custody agreement. You don't get to pick it up on Wednesdays, Fridays, every other weekend, and Easter. You don't just go for the Mass at midnight on Christmas Eve. You show up when you feel your lowest, because oftentimes that's when you are your tallest. You just don't know it yet, because you're in it. You're in it. Listen, scars. Right here, cover of this magazine. Living beyond our scars. I'm going to tell you why I brought these things. You don't see them for sale. I've got a bunch of them laid out. I got one of each. Because they are here to remind me, to remind you how it works. When I started, I was still on parole. When I started writing the songs down, not knowing that a record deal was coming my way, I thought I needed to get it out of me and put it on paper. I needed something to look at to make sure, can it be, can it be? And out came Somebody, Battlefield, Up, Down, No Fences, Sasha Lost, You Have the Right, Let It Go, and Turn It Around. That was the last song, and the label was going to call this album Battlefield until the very last song, Turn It Around, and they renamed it because that was just what was about to happen. Everything turned around. I met my everything when I thought I'd leave this world all alone. Next thing you know, I'm married. And I told my husband to be about, one day I think I want to speak. He's a therapist, he's a good one. But he ain't that good. Because what he did was he gave me a book on how to speak, how to motivationally speak. That book is still on my nightstand and I've never read it. But within 1 year, I'd done 372 paid speaking gigs around the world. And it was never about what was in the book, because I never read the book. It was always about the story that was within me. You see, that video where I was going to run off the stage because I had a tether, that's the video that Goldcast found. Someone told me how to put it on YouTube just to save it so it wouldn't accidentally get erased or lost. They found it. Their curators brought it to their attention. They produced it and brought it to me the day before Mother's Day in 2019. It had no views on my YouTube channel, and within a month it was over 4 million. Today, in January, they certified it at 40 million views. And that was me telling my story that lived right behind or beside my scars. See, when you start acknowledging, look about it, you got a scar. I burned myself in the furnace a month ago. Getting back there trying to put a filter in and laid my hand on it. I'll be able to remember that. Anything, somebody, how you get that? Oh, I was 6, I was crawling around underneath the bench and cut my elbow. That's the reason. That's a clue. Because once you start understanding the scars that are right in front of you, first of all, it's immediate proof of healing. It's not bleeding anymore. It don't even hurt. It may be numb. It may be a lot of things. It may be unattractive. But it's a reminder, and it's proof of healing. And it is the key to the door, because if you stare at them long enough, just these on your skin, you'll start seeing, I promise you, the outline, faint as it may be, of a heart. Guess what that is? That's the heart of the story that came with it, waiting for you to give it permission to beat. Waiting for you to tell that story. Because when you start telling those stories, it's going to lead you to the keys to the scars here. To the scars here that you can't see so readily, so easily. There's stories there too, and those are the stories of magic. So I want to start today by showing you the experience as it happened with me, Vanessa, just as it happened with me. So I'm about to back it up. I'm parting the veil to bring you inside it. All of us, every single one of us, began. Whether it's your story is once upon a time or in the beginning. Just like all these stars. You see these colors? They're here now. Christians say there's a sweet, sweet spirit in this place. Somebody else may say, I feel and see an aura. Ooh, did you feel that chill? All of us have stood wondering, is there anything that's watching me? Is there anything that sees me? All of me. I'm here to tell you, it's true. It's true. You're looking at a person who could have never imagined how important every single moment was to this moment. We are not above or below as they would have us believe. Google ladder of success, you'll see what I mean. It always shows those people on the ladder and you don't even see where it landed. And they're all going like this. Sometimes they'll even be risky and show you the legs of the person up. And then we take it and say, well, let me put my best foot forward. Wait a minute. Something's blocking me. Let me turn. Oh, no, that's quite the drop. And then plop. Why am I always getting crapped on? Well, look what you're looking at. The backside of the person they've said is above you. That's why in corporate America, more divorces, more suicides, more of things we did not start with at the beginning. Why? Because they pit us against each other. We are not in competition with each other. We are in competition with time. We all have a certain number of pages within our volume, within this world. And I want you to know, it is here for the taking. That DNA, those fingerprints, they're going to be gone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But it is your story that they will tell for thousands of years. But only if you leave it. So I'm going to move up here if that's okay. Is that okay? Yeah. All right. So because this is a conversation, and I want to. Oh, you know what? I don't like it up here. I'm coming back. Okay. No, I don't want to do that either. I'm good. Okay, that's me. That's the me. See, I stepped out of there and stepped into the me. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to take you on a little journey of clue collecting, because everything that I used to find what was for me and to give it permission to find me started with looking at the promises and then keeping them close once I understood them. Seek and you will find. It says, it didn't say maybe, slight chance, well, every now and then. No, seek and you're going to find. So that means to me, turn it into a game. I tell people all the time, if God were to have a volume of a book of what his relationship or her relationship or their relationship was with each of us behind, mine would be that white, black, and yellow book that always starts with so-and-so for dummies. You know what I mean? Motivating for dummies, right? Because they keep it so simplistically broken down. They show me things so that I can get it once. You know why that's important to know? Because the truth never changes, and the truth never changes on us. So if you hear the truth, if you feel the truth, if you know the truth, if you know it to be true, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you who? Well, there it is. If you can stand behind it, then what is greater than you has just been given permission to stand before you, to stand beside you, and to cover everything that's coming from behind. Because as humans, we will never see everything. Never. So I want to talk about how you collect the clues. You have to pay attention. First of all, you have to believe that you are in tandem with something. You are co-authoring. They ask me all the time in interviews. I had 6 covers last year. And it's not about the pictures on the front. It is about that opportunity known as real estate in between. That is why, first person in history, 2 teams at this magazine, the front cover and the back cover. They didn't know until the final day, the week before they went to print, that the both teams had chosen the same person for 2 different brands. On the front was me. That's before you. On the back was my television show. That's what I'm talking about, you see. Things that we could never have seen coming, but they saw us coming and said, let me get dressed. Today's a day to celebrate. This one stayed away from where they were tolerated and are finding themselves right in front of where they can be celebrated. Put on your best and come on. There's a party tonight. I tell you, there's a party tonight. Okay? So listen to me. Everything that happens in my world, I write it down. On my show, and my followers know, I have a wall of purpose. Nothing but a bunch of Post-it notes. But one day by day, week by week, month by month, they kept seeing those come down. And now the proof of the manifestation was behind me in the same room, on my set. When did you get that cover? Remember that Post-it note that I hung on the wall of purpose? You were here when it came through. Yeah, well, there it is. Every one of these brands. Instagram, 10 minutes to change your life. My competition, the next global impactor. Somebody got a $500,000 start on their dream. My coaching, people sitting here right now. My mastermind, that's give back, that's free, that's value. Here, come and get it, come and get it, come and get it. Bathrobe Moments, the show, Discover the Speaker, Author, and You. P3, Purpose, Passion, and Patience. The Journey series, the latest, the Power of We Symposium. Just did the third one 2 weeks ago. After the second one in 19 in Atlanta, 6 weeks later we were standing in a room in the United Nations getting an award from having started a movement. A movement. Now come on now. I didn't do that. The clue is in the name. The power of we. It didn't say the power of me, but the turning of one letter. A small shift made a big change, and a big change from a small shift. It's all about vantage point, perspective. So, now, let's say, and all this stuff, you know, in TV, just all of it means the same thing. It means that you meant something. There it is. It showed up. Many of you are doing things right now and tossing these very kinds of blessings over the heads of generations because you know it needs to land in 2094. Your soul knows what you don't. Don't you remember when they told us back in school, you only use 10% of your brain? Well, clues, people, clues. So now, what happened when I stepped in and I started seeing change? I turned this pain into purpose. Because the pain was on purpose. I'm telling you, I'm living in a place right now where everything I've ever lived, I tell God all the time, I'm always negotiating, rewriting the contract, going back, and they let you. And I used to say, you know, hey, even before all this stuff, just when I found what living truly meant, when I started investing in my healing instead of investing more in the killing of my dreams and me and this, letting whatever whispered lies turn the knife on me. It didn't never do that, but it sure got me close to doing it to myself. When all of us go back to the things that have gone south, have gone left, did not work out. If we're honest with ourselves, in most cases when people say, well, who's responsible for that? We have to say, or should at least be open to the fact that it's most likely me. I did that. So here's what happens. Everyone thinks it's like on, you know, The Wizard of Oz. They always picture that when she opened up the door, yeah, it was all this kind of stuff, but how long did it take before a house fell on somebody? Just a few steps. How far out, when she started down the road, did it get dark and there was the trees and the apples are being thrown and this and the other? Immediately. But they also ran out of something and ran into something, the poppies. And you all know the story. But what my point is, I'm ready, Vanessa, second. Here's what I stepped into. I'm like, this is great. I could have never seen this happening to me. So I want you to, I'm trying to, there it is. See, that's the me talking. I ain't trying to nothing. I'm getting ready. Take you inside when we stepped off the road where it was all a little more up. Ooh, something's watching me. I know it. My heart's beating. Does that mean I'm scared? Or is that thing known as adrenaline? Why is it I feel like I'm not alone? But wait, isn't that what I've always wanted? Why do I now feel that everything is like universally urgent? Oh, there. I can breathe again. Yeah, I know exactly where I'm at. Yeah, I want this. I want to go there. I want to see that. I want to become all of it. Isn't this just the greatest thing? Finally. Oh, this is exactly what they said would happen. But wait. What if I mess it up? I've always done that. When things get good, I have to mess it up. But I feel like are they gonna laugh? Am I gonna be a joke again? If I told the world what I'm thinking can be, what was that? Did you hear that? Something's in here with me. And every monster that ever chased me was all in the same room at the same time. But so was everything that I needed to not only forgive those monsters, but to banish them. My words create magical spells through that door known as my soul, my mind. Now I need to connect them all. Mind, body, and spirit. I want to use everything I see and everything I don't. I want my world to not be parallel. I choose my world to go from the top to the bottom, bottom to the top, side to side, side to side, corner to corner, and corner to corner. I want it all. But why do you want it? Because they need it. All you have to do is figure out how to get the world to stop long enough to see you. They will come thinking they're getting what they want, and that's okay, as long as they leave receiving what they need. And that means you cannot go in with an angle. We all know those industries: car salesmen, recruiters, and many others that seem to get a bad rep because there's always an angle. What it boils down to is transparency. Doing what your soul has agreed. Looking, relooking, going back and upgrading, bringing in and pulling out. Things that do not serve you must go. Why? Because the longer you ignore those things that no longer serve you, they come in the shapes of people, places, or things. The longer you wait, the more time you give them to trick you into serving them. Why do I always choose the wrong guy? How come it always ends up a shit show at my family gatherings? On and on, take your pick. Because something needs to be changed in that mixture, in that equation, in that formula. Your purpose is already been proven because you're here. You're here on purpose. Look at the odds. Get over that. Now, where is passion? A lot of us think that's what they show in the romantic movies. Passion, it is one form, but passion as far as how we change the world and leave legacy for people to find for thousands of years. Well, first of all, you don't have to know what it looks like, know where it lives. It lives right beyond your breath that you just took to stay alive. Hello, passion. Well, but wait a minute, Loren, there's a hole in that theory, because when I was single, passion was what I wanted to do in my career. But then I got married and my spouse became my passion. Then we had some children. Well, again, it was that ladder that makes you think you have to put them in a pecking order. No, that's above or below. Purpose puts everything beside you, within reach. Again, because we're not in competition with each other, ever. We are all travelers. We are all whatever you need to be. Carmen Sandiego, where is Waldo? Go, take your pick. Just know that you are not here by mistake. You are here on purpose. Everything you mean becomes meaningful, including those dark things. So tread softly. So now, we're going to bring it all the way to where this starts to make sense. And then I'm going to wrap it up. I was telling some of you the other day that when I first started speaking, I was instructed I did the first 99 speeches because those were the stages I was on all alone. And God told me, Loren, always take whatever time is needed, but get as much eye contact with each person. And I did it here today, you remember. You combine that with those of you who raise your hand, who knows. Remember who yesterday did I say there was a message for you with your name on it, and I would look at you. See? Remember that? Raise your hand if that came running through the front yard of your mind at least once between then and now. That's right. That's right. That's all they had to do was believe that they were patched in. I am nothing other than a switchboard operator. That red phone that Commissioner Gordon picked up to call Batman. I'm not even the signal in the sky. I'm just the vessel that allows the two to come together. Oh, there's that promise again. Where two or more come together. Those of you who are influencers, I remember when my show started 6 years ago, I used to stare at the numbers in the corner. How many are watching? No one's watching. And I remember the night before my Goldcast video debuted, God said to me, Loren, don't pay attention to those numbers on the left, the views and this and the other. Those equate to footprints in the snow in front of your spiritual home that are not headed to your door. They're running across your yard. People are just scrolling. They're not really seeking. They don't even know they're doing it half the time. It's mindless. There's nothing behind it. There's no purpose behind it. And it will produce no low-hanging fruit. None. I don't want that view one day. When I stand up, I'll tell you what I want to see. Because they showed me it was possible. Standing on a precipice somewhere and just seeing as far as my eye could see, which is nothing like these, nothing but bountiful grape vineyards, orchards, gardens, all of it. And I'm like, whose is that? Ours. Who planted that? We did. I was like, wait a minute, but did I do any of this? We did all of this. Do you see? Look around you. Travelers whose manifest had your name in it. To be here right now. Thousands, millions of years ago, however long, whatever your mind lets you believe. Whatever you're ready. So I want you to understand something before we get out of here. Somebody here right now, I want you to know you are closer to that breakthrough that you've always dreamed about than you could ever believe. It is right there. Can you see it? Because I can. It is right there. Somebody's turning and looking. You don't need those eyes to see what I'm looking at. I'm talking to you. Be careful how you turn and look. You got to learn how to play the game. You see what I'm saying? Right. Sometimes, most times, what is negative doesn't even know where your blessing is hidden. Because it takes spiritual eyes to see that. But when you go in that direction, it gets over there. Because you're going to seek what you really want. When you snapped your head, you meant it. You thought you were going to see something there. It was always, in no matter what direction you move it, there the screen is. Remember that. Hit it. So you guys, all of us. The story was, I said, they told me to always look at each person and ask yourself, I know the promise that two or more of us. I have a 12th grade education, but next weekend when I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, when I walk on, this time next week, I'll be a doctor. Yes! I'm telling you what is true. I'm telling you what is possible. Every clue, whether it was hieroglyphics, Negro spirituals, Confucius says, Farmer's Almanac, Mother Goose. Anything that has a moral to the story, including all your scars, is what creates legacy. It is what you feel without knowing it's there. It is what you see without opening your eyes. Frustration doesn't mean you're less. It means fearless. This spirit is in this place right now. And it can only be what you feel right now because we created it. Everything that is a first, including this moment I promised you. If you feel things for the rest of your life, and you will, there will never be a moment like this one. They will all be second and beyond, because this is a first. And you only get one of those. Make every single moment your first. And you've done it just like I did it. When they've abused me in foster care over and over and over, the only thing I had to do was focus on getting up over and over and over. I want you to leave this place and know that you have been changed. Why? How do I know it's true? Because each of you has just changed me. Be encouraged. Be encouraged. Thank you.